Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Forever United TV live here in Manchester. Bringing you your morning update show. Driving to school, driving to work, having your cereal, your morning coffee. I got you covered for your day to get you kick-started with everything going on around Manchester United. Welcome along to the chats. If you are new to the chat, just get involved, get your comments in. We're going to be talking about Marcus Rashford and what the Times are reporting this morning in Barcelona's approach and what Manchester United will need if it is going to be a loan. Jadon Sancho's situation is turning into a bit of a bidding war, which is excellent news for Manchester United. It's the Italian side of things today that we're getting reports on. Damasio's report from last night, I'm going to get through that this morning as well. Jazeera is a real target for Manchester United. More talks last night on the Club Brugge holding midfielder and what his opinion is of United and where United are at. Wilfred Ndidi on top of that. If Casemiro goes, update on Casemiro's situation as well this morning, of course, as well. And obviously the minor little details and updates around Bryan Mbeumo, the much anticipated transfer for most Man United fans so far. And breathe, because every single day there seems to be a big pile of new news coming in on Manchester United, and we're going to get through as much of that as quickly as we possibly can to get you fully in the know this morning. 25th of June. 5 days left until July hits. Things are moving. People are buying players. Possibility of United players moving on. Interesting update from Atletico Madrid side of thing regarding Antony as well this morning. Yes, there's a lot. We'll start with Marcus Rashford. We'll start with that and what is actually happening. And finally, we're seeing some actual movement. Now that Nico Williams is pretty much in the bag for Barcelona, the stories have started to circulate. Manchester United, it seems, have pushed Marcus Rashford a little on this one. And Rashford now is into Barcelona and talks are now starting to intensify regarding his potential move to Barcelona, which sadly, as we all know right now, is only going to be a loan. We want more. We want Rashford gone. We want that 100% profit. We talked last night actually on the show, and it's quite embarrassing for Marcus Rashford, to be honest, and for Manchester United. I'm not just going to leave Rashford on his own with this one here. I will be fair, but last night we were talking about Newcastle having a £45 million bid rejected for Anthony Elanga, yet not one club on the planet is willing to pay 40 million for Marcus Rashford right now, and he is supposed to be the pin-up, the superstar player. Anthony Elanga, credit to you, my friend, for going away, working hard and proving that you did probably belong, but unfortunately Player Power FC has been the virus around Manchester United for years, and he isn't going to get a chance in that side. But again, another player moving away from United, away from the carnage and away from the chaos, actually thriving. Well done, Anthony Elanga. I hope he does get that move, personally, as well as for the club, because there is a sell-on clause in Anthony Elanga's contract. And if Newcastle do end up having to pay 60 million plus, that could go a long way for Man United this window. But where is Marcus Rashford at, and what's happening with that move and potential move to Barcelona? Well, this is the latest from the Times and where we're actually at, and this has just come out over the last hour, actually, and the information on this. Barcelona are finally preparing a loan offer for Rashford, even if they sign Nico Williams. This is Paul Hurst from the Times who's reporting this one. United want a permanent deal. Now, we know that. We just have to accept that Rashford is not going to be sold. Now, United can come out with this front. We know above anybody else in a position at Manchester United right now, he is the head. He is the head of the snake. He really is. If you chop that off, everything falls into place. We've said it how many times? Going back 2 years when he did his little outing into at Northern Ireland in Belfast, the Belfast Bebe and all of that talk that was going on. Marcus Rashford unfit to come to training because of drinking the night before. Since all of that, we have known that Marcus Rashford has had power. He has had pull. He has had something over Manchester United. And I don't care what the club think or say about it. He has. And that has been clear to everybody at Manchester United. They want to make a permanent move, but they know that Rashford will stick it out and will be that player that we know he has been and that character that he has been over the last couple of years and not make that happen. So, moving on to that 40 million valuation, will that happen or will that come about after a year on loan? You could say that that's a positive in this, and United may look at it this way. And trying to move other players on, maybe it just gives them the room to send Marcus Rashford out on loan. Now, what Manchester United want from the loan, from what Paul Hurst is saying here from talking to Manchester United, United will demand a loan fee up front from Barcelona. How much that is, I do not know, and nobody will know until we get down to the bottom of these so-called new talks that are now starting to happen between United and Barcelona. A loan fee from Barcelona with them covering his full salary. That is the only way, and that is Manchester United's stance right now on Marcus Rashford's loan or potential loan to Barcelona. A loan fee and 325 grand a week wages paid in full by Barcelona. So if they don't want to pay a transfer fee, they're going to have to find room somewhere with all of their new latest finances and their new club credit going up now as well, with returning back to the Camp Nou and obviously the revenues that are coming in there. Can they balance their books? Obviously, we know that Fati has left. That's one player off the books of Barcelona. We're not looking at any sort of significant dealings here with Barcelona regarding a transfer fee instalments. This is not going to take long once United decide they are willing to loan Marcus Rashford, because that's the only way that he's leaving. This will be a case of, right, there's the loan fee, pay that, and there's the wages, you pay all of that. Otherwise, Marcus Rashford, unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, he is going to be sat at Carrington doing nothing. We have got form for this. Ruben does not care if Marcus Rashford is sat on the sidelines doing nothing. He did it for over 2 months last season. Manchester United have done this with Jadon Sancho through a season as well for Ten Hag. There is form for this to happen. So from now until December, end of December, when the new January transfer window opens in this season coming, Manchester United are happy for Rashford to sit and do nothing. That's up to him. If he wants to be in the England squad, he has to make something happen with Barcelona. He has to try and trigger something. And you know what? You could go. I have no idea how this can be rectified, or if Marcus Rashford is so desperate to play for Barcelona, he will lower his wages. Look, I don't know that happens, because this is a contract that Marcus Rashford's in. Manchester United could easily just say, look, let's just write you a new contract and get everyone to sign it with lower wages so Barcelona can afford you, and then obviously we can loan you out to Barcelona. That is unheard of and probably would never happen in a million years. But you've got to start thinking out the box here if you're Marcus Rashford, because like I just said, that sounds ridiculous, but what isn't ridiculous is Marcus Rashford sat on his ass doing absolutely jacko at Manchester United. He's already had a little 2-month spell in that little isolation bubble that we've got at Carrington, where players that don't want to listen to Ruben Amorim go. And Rashford has been there before. He has got his name on the wall there, and that is his little den or whatever it is, or whatever corner they go to train on their own. His career at this moment could completely spiral out of control and go if he doesn't make something happen himself. He needs to get a grip, because the only thing we know and the only facts that we know are them. That Ruben does not care. He hasn't got a career at United if Ruben's the manager. Ruben's going nowhere at the moment. Rashford needs to make a big decision here, because if he wants to be in that World Cup, he's going to have to make something happen from his side. United are clear. If you want to do the loan fee, all of the wages paid. That alone is unheard of when it comes to deals, particularly of the size of Marcus Rashford's salary. But that's where United are stood. They want a permanent sale. If that's not going to happen, you're going to be paying through the teeth to make this loan happen. So is Marcus Rashford worth 325 grand a week? And you add that up in euros for what Barcelona are going to be playing, you're getting close to 400 grand a week. 400,000 euros a week in wages for Marcus Rashford. Are you willing to go that far and pay a loan fee? I don't know what Barcelona's finances are like, but that is going to really, really push them. I have no idea how this happens in terms of Barcelona's side of thing. I really don't care. I'm happy that United have taken a stance on this, and this needed to happen from the start. Be very, very clear. Rashford is going to be reporting back to Carrington in less than 2 weeks' time. And the conversation is going to be had. You either deal with this loan that we're offering to Barcelona and make it happen from your side somehow. I don't know how that happens. I have no idea. This is a territory that I don't think many clubs have been in. I've been in that much, to be honest. I can't remember a scenario like this where United, or a club of United size and Barcelona's side, and United really do not care for the player at all, to a point where there is an offer on the table. If they don't accept it, that's fine. United, even in their current circumstances financially, are willing to let Rashford rot on the sidelines. Look, nobody wants this to happen, by the way. United ideally want Rashford gone so they can bring the money in. They need it. But this is why I think we've got to talk of all of the other players leaving Manchester United, your Casemiros, your possible Rasmus Højlund types of players. Look, these deals are far, far down the line. from being finalised, or probably improbable. I don't see Rashford going on a permanent deal. I don't see Rasmus Højlund being sold by Manchester United. I don't think Inter Milan will pump up that money. If they do, then United have got to rethink everything again. Look, if Inter Milan want Rasmus Højlund, they'll go for him. If Barcelona want Marcus Rashford, they'll go for him. But there is a chance that both Rashford and Rasmus Højlund are at Manchester United for the start of this season, past the window deadline finishing. There is a big chance. One of them will be playing, in part, in Rasmus Højlund, because obviously he isn't really a problem. And one of them, in Marcus Rashford, will be twiddling his thumbs doing something. I don't know what he will be doing or what happens to him. But that's the circumstances that he is facing right now. And I feel like he needs to really get his head in gear and really decide what he wants from this. And I think in a couple of weeks' time, when Rashford comes back, I think we're going to find out a little bit more. If I was Dwayne Maynard, Rashford's agent, right now, I'd be looking to try and get a deal sorted here. Because he isn't going to be welcomed back by the Man United fans. That's one thing. Ruben's not going to welcome him back. He's stuck. He has absolutely put everything on red on that roulette table, and that's Barcelona. If that doesn't come off, he's lost everything. Because United will just bin him. And they're willing to do it. I don't know how. I don't know how financially they're willing. But all we've got to look at is past incidents at United. We've done it with Sancho, we've done it with Rashford before. They're going to do it again. And I think that's United's play on all of this. Whether or not that's a bluff, I don't know. It's going to force Barcelona into action. We'll see, won't we? But the talks have started, and that's Manchester United's stance on it anyway with Marcus Rashford. So let's get into the comments section on this first of all. What is your realistic look and what you feel might happen here with Manchester United? Get into the chat, everybody. Let me know. We've got a few super chats to get through first of all. First one from Manny. Thank you, buddy. Again, it doesn't have to be embarrassing for Rashford. He just has to realise he's only overpaid about 150 grand a week. Probably more. He didn't deserve the 200 grand a week contract that he got. I remember there was uproar with that. It was just about holding on to that. Whoever gave Marcus Rashford that contract, that new contract of over 300 grand a week, absolutely mind-boggling. But hey, we've talked about that before. That's what Man United used to do, and that's what United are always going to be suffering from. Past management, which is killing this football club. Ross says with a super chat, thank you, mate. Rashford gets loaned to Barcelona for a year, can't get on the pitch. Then he's more agreeable to moving somewhere more realistic next summer. It just depends if the terms are right. I honestly agree with what you're saying here. I don't think he will get any better or his value will go up one bit while being at Barcelona. If anything, I think Marcus Rashford's valuation goes down because he's just not going to be playing enough. He isn't going to be getting the game time that he wants. He isn't going to be getting the game time that is going to warrant him a place in England's side. And if anything, he's just going to fall into that trap of this is now how my career is. Instead of really doing, like, for instance, what Anthony did, going away, playing every minute of every game possible and actually thriving at another club at the level that you belong. You don't belong at Barcelona, Marcus. Everybody knows it. You could play and have a little bit of an impact, but you're not going to be starting games. You need to be starting games if you're going to be in Tuchel's side. I know, I'll never understand him anyway. But you all know my opinion on Marcus Rashford. If it's a loan, Barca need to pay 100% of his wages. If they won't, this would force Rashford to take a pay cut or miss out on his dream move. Bingo. They do. And United's stance, according to the Times, is full wages paid by Barcelona on this loan and the loan fee. I'm going to be honest right now. Do I see Barcelona going for that and the way that they operate? No, I don't. So the problem isn't going to be Barcelona's. The problem probably isn't going to be Manchester United's right now, except they've got Rashford stuck there on stupid wages. But if they're willing to actually do what they did last season, with Rashford rotting because they're not going to buckle to someone like Barcelona and Dwayne Maynard and Marcus Rashford's demands, then the problem is going to be Marcus Rashford's. Because the biggest thing in all of this is him playing in that World Cup. That's what he wants. And that will be the deciding factor later on in this window. This, I think, is either going to be Barcelona coming to the table straight away and saying yes to what United want for a loan, which I don't see happening, or this being dragged out right until the last days of the window and Rashford probably ends up having to move somewhere else because United won't budge on Barca's demands and he's going to look like an absolute tit. He will. It'll be embarrassing for him. Raid Leon now, Almanda and Mikuadze. Yes, but if you didn't see the news last night, they are appealing it, but Lyon have been relegated to Division 2 in France through financial, oh God, like I think it was 500 million or something like that. I haven't seen reports. I've not looked too much into it. I've just read a few of the headlines. But yes, the verdict from Ligue 1 is you are out. Lyon are out of the top flight in France, relegated. Maybe Manchester City go down there. I don't know. Different rules for different countries and everything like that. But still, that is quite significant, isn't it? That's massive news. Why can't the Premier League be this strong with certain decisions when dealing with clubs? I don't know. Let's get some more comments in here. Thank you for all the super chats, by the way, everybody. Cheers for all the likes as well, everyone. Keep them coming in if you're loving the content. Stephen says, Rashford are trying to attract himself to a big club capable of getting titles. Money is clearly only a concern for Trashy, Sancho and Nacho. Heads 100% gone, says Utaf. Jane says, no way Barca are going to pay that. He's not good enough. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Do Barcelona realistically want Marcus Rashford? They're saying that they do. But let's look at what's actually been said. It has been mainly Rashford and his people driving this move to Barcelona. That's what he wants. We can say that, yes, Deco has met with Rashford's representatives. We've seen the pictures at the hotel. You could say that's a genuine thing there right away. But still, like, talks are talks. Man United have talked to nearly every single striker on the planet this summer. It doesn't mean that they're going to buy them. They want to know the conditions to the deal. Barcelona will not pay Marcus Rashford's wages. I'm telling you this right now. United can take whatever stance they want, but this is the point. United are not bothered either. United will sit him down. They know that Rashford will make a move happen towards the end of this window. If he doesn't go on tour, that'll make it look even worse for him. What's Thomas Tuchel thinking right now? What's he thinking in terms of Marcus Rashford and where he's actually at? This is what he's got to start thinking about. Rashford said he would take a pay cut to go there, but that's only on a permanent deal because you cannot take a pay cut in a loan. The loan contract is whatever he's contracted to Manchester United, so Rashford will not take a pay cut. He has said this just to make himself look good. So anybody thinking that Marcus Rashford coming out and saying that he's going to take a pay cut, don't even fall for it. Because he knows that Manchester United are not going to be able to sell. Dwayne Maynard would have known that United can't sell Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. There's not a chance in hell that they're going to pay the money to Manchester United. That's the only way Rashford would take a pay cut to move to Barcelona. So he's put it out there to make it look like he is willing to take a pay cut to make the move. He's doing his bit, basically. I just want to play football. I want to go to Barcelona. I will take a pay cut. He knows deep down that that's never going to happen. So he just made it look like he's actually doing his bit on that. Because in a loan, which his people know is the only way he goes to Barcelona, because they can't afford him, everybody knows this, the only way it happens is if he goes on his Man United contract. Unless, like I said, the absurd happens and United sit down and say, right, Marcus, here's a new deal. You're taking a pay cut. We will loan you to Barcelona so they can pay your wages. Are you going to do that? Because then he's only on a loan to Barcelona. And he comes back to Manchester United because he isn't going to play enough and Barcelona won't keep him, I don't think. So then he's stuck there on the lower wages. So let's see if he will take a pay cut. If he's willing to take a pay cut now at Manchester United, renegotiate your contract. And then go on loan to Barcelona. No, you won't do that, will you? No, let's just put it out there. Like, if there's a permanent deal, I'll make a pay cut to make this work. Knowing that it's never going to work. Tit. It's not like Ryan Keane now, sorry. Going on my little Marcus Rashford rant there. Sorry, everybody, but that's how it is, isn't it? I mean, to be honest, there isn't any other scenario there that you could make happen where Marcus Rashford ends up just going to Barcelona on a reduced salary. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Manny says Antiel has a point, but let's not get carried away with Lyon. Even we beat them. In terms of taking their players, look, at the end of the day, I'm all for the bargains and the options that are out there, and you do need to make sure that you get the right price players. And everybody's talked about the difference between like paying for someone who's a lot cheaper, like Jonathan David, for instance, instead of a Gyökeres or something like that. Look, if United don't want the player and Ruben doesn't like the player, it's pointless going getting him because he's cheaper. We're not going to do that. Like, the deals are there for Vlahovic, obviously. You can see that. There's another example there. He's 17 million. Let's just go and get him. But if Ruben doesn't want him, United are not going to go and make that happen. No matter how cheap he is. You've got to find a player that fits your system. You've got to find a player that's going to work. Moise Keane yesterday, like the talks about him, trying to make a case for that. I don't want Moise Keane. He's not my target. I would like another striker in, but we're running out of targets. We're running out of targets. It's realistically, what's going to work in a system for Ruben Amorim right now? And you can only buy players that he knows do have the characteristics to work for him. I've said it before. I don't like the rotation of 10s. I said it. I don't like players being too versatile. I'd rather have a master of one. I want Cunha and Mbeumo in my 10s. And then I want a number 9. That, I think, it's putting round pegs in round holes. That's all it is. Sometimes it's simple football, but it's hard to get the simple stuff done because it is a premium price. And that's what United are facing right now. Glenn with a super chat says, I wonder if Rashford has considered the Barca manager. Hansi Flick seems like another manager who doesn't take any crap. So what's the odds on a fallout? Hansi Flick has got Barcelona playing absolutely brilliant football. And you know that he is ruling that roost there as well. He got everybody under his control. It's like Enrique. You've got so many good players there at PSG, but he has got them under control. That is gold. That's the golden ticket to winning the biggest trophies. Pep at City, Arteta to a degree at Arsenal. They all work for him, but he's too stubborn to bring in the right type of players, and he will always keep missing out. Arne Slot going into Liverpool, not bringing anybody in and trusting what was there before. The players understanding, right, okay, this manager's come in and he's going to give us a chance to prove that we can win this title. We're good enough to win this title. And then we fell short of the Champions League, so now Liverpool are investing even more to get to that next level. It's having the trust in the manager. And it's going to take a lot of work for Man United to get to that point with Ruben Amorim yet. And the only way it happens is if we get rid of players. And whether they're not playing or whether they're sold, whether they're loaned, it doesn't matter to Ruben. You will not be featuring in this team. And it's hard to get that when you've had so many issues before with the players and the culture has been so bad. It's hard to win that over. It's taken a lot of time for United to do it. And this is where we need to have patience as a fan base as well, because this isn't going to happen in one window. And people who are saying that we are slow, we are losing track and losing ground on everybody else doing business, just take that into consideration, what we just talked about with Marcus Rashford. And then you've got to have an understanding of how difficult that's got to be for Ruben Amorim in dealing with, and Manchester United, working with deals and players that they didn't bring in. That, I think, is why this is going to take a lot longer than what people are hoping it is. Ant says, just thinking we need to strengthen the squad too, but only for players, mate. And you're right, we do need strength in depth. Only for players that Ruben wants to bring in or that will fit at Manchester United. So let's move on. We did a lot on Rashford there. Thank you, everybody. Keep your comments coming in on Rashford. Let me know on that. Jadon Sancho and where we're actually at now. Damasio last night was talking again on the reports that were coming out yesterday. Amidst all of the Fenerbahce offer for Jadon Sancho, the Juve side of things is now ramping up. And Juve are apparently speaking to Sancho today. And obviously, if he's in Italy, I think this is where the story of Napoli coming in for Jadon Sancho as well. So we've gone from giving Napoli his preference over Juventus to Juventus now going into Manchester United. So we might find out today some more regarding the players that Juventus are trying to offer Man United. And again, only players that Ruben will want to use will be used in any make-weight deal, if there is one at all, on the table from Juventus to take Jadon Sancho away. But Juventus talking today to Marcus Rashford. So too are Napoli at the same time, obviously. A bit of a round trip to figure out what they can do. Can they beat the Fenerbahce offer? Because Jose Mourinho's offer to Jadon Sancho, like we heard last night, he spoke to him personally on the phone. This was brought up by Ben Jacobs. He wants him at Fenerbahce. He's willing to pay him £8.5 million a year in wages. That's 165 grand a week wages. I don't see Napoli matching that, going off what Giovanni Manna, the CEO at Napoli, has said and come out with. He has said that he will not pay Jadon Sancho's requested wage demands. I don't see him going to Napoli now. If Fenerbahce have really thrown a spanner in the works here for the Italian clubs, because they've now set the level in terms of the offer on the table. They are the biggest, and for Jadon Sancho, that's the most money that he is going to get offered, I feel, in any deal. Whether there is incentives with the Italian clubs that he could get to, I don't know. But Jadon Sancho has always been on about getting the money up front. Remember when we said his demands to Manchester United on any move is that they pay out his contract or they pay his wages for a loan deal. Right now, Manchester United have lowered the price for Jadon Sancho to counter the wage demands of the player, just so it's appealing for another club to take him away. Now that, I think, is crucial in this. And where Juventus and Fenerbahce and Napoli go with this, I don't know. Personally, going off what was said by Napoli for Garnacho, not wanting to pay 90 grand a week wages in January, going off what Juventus have paid before in wages, the only option in Italy that he's got, and the only way that this could be more appealing for Manchester United as well, in terms of the price that they get, is Juventus. I think Napoli are out of this now, unless they change their tactics in terms of what they're willing to do with Jadon Sancho. Juventus hold the cards, I feel, because there could be players that United want. And I'm not saying that's a definite. I don't think United want to take players in exchange for Jadon Sancho. It's not how business is done normally by United. I can't remember a time when this actually happened, money and the player. I don't see it happening again. I think United just want a straight sale for Jadon Sancho and they want to buy their own players. Whether Manchester United agree a deal financially for Jadon Sancho, so he's off the books for PSR, and then they can restructure a deal maybe for a Vlahovic or a Douglas Luiz type of player. I think that is something that United might be up for, but 20 million apparently is the fee that Juventus will pay Manchester United, which is a little bit higher than what Fenerbahce's is, but only by a small amount. We're not talking big money here at all. The one thing that this might do is, look, United say, look, Fenerbahce are offering him this. Can you match the wages? And we'll set the price at this. We won't want any higher than this price. Fenerbahce may have to up their price for Jadon Sancho to Manchester United if they want this to happen, to try and convince United. Because at the moment we're seeing Jadon Sancho, who has obviously said he will move to Italy. He's had a phone call with Jose Mourinho, so he's happy with that as well, and conversations are going on there. So we've got two places where he wants to go, and now it's between them two clubs to make the best deal for Jadon Sancho, because I think United are sat pretty at the moment with this. They're happy with the prices that are out there and the offers that are on the table for Jadon Sancho from the clubs, and we're now waiting to see which one of these clubs, whether Napoli can come out of the blue or Juventus do offer the same money as Fenerbahce. I think if Juventus offer the same, I think it's Tudor who's the manager now at Juve. I think if Juventus offer the same money as Fenerbahce, I think Sancho goes to Italy. It's just from what we've seen before, because he's been willing to go to Italy. And no disrespect to the Turkish league, Serie A is a much more appealing proposition. All three of these teams bidding for Jadon Sancho, by the way, have Champions League football. So that's there. The affordability factor for these teams with the money in the Champions League is going to play a big part in this. Because last season, Fenerbahce haven't really had them finances. They were only in the Europa League. They were in with us. But now being in the Champions League, you could say, and Fenerbahce do have money to spend. I think Ben Jacobs said that also. Fenerbahce have money to spend this summer. And Jose Mourinho and the new sporting director at Fenerbahce is looking to give Jose Mourinho some Prem-proven players to come in. That was just a story. I don't know if there's anything in that at all, whether he's specifically looking at just Premier League players because Jose knows them well. It has to be the right type of player, obviously, but that's where everything is right now. So today could be a big, big day for the Jadon Sancho situation. It could be a big day in terms of where he decides to go, and we could get a lot of developments, because with them three teams all coming in for him, it just helps bump up the price and keep the price there. Right now, I am probably more confident in Jadon Sancho leaving for a decent price than any other deal happening for Manchester United in the outgoings. This is how this has moved forward. So, and it gives you confidence, doesn't it? If somebody's willing to pay 20 million, 25 million for Jadon Sancho abroad, surely someone's going to pay that for Antony. And that's what we need to move on to next, because Antony right now, nothing news has come out wise. Did I say that right? Nothing news come out. Nothing Antony-wise has come out in the news regarding a move or anything happening with Betis, for instance, or another football club. But interestingly enough, regarding the Atletico Madrid situation, now, not just Antony going to Atletico Madrid, But they have bought Cardoso from Real Betis. Now, I reported this about 6 weeks ago, and I said that there was an agreement in place. Now, obviously, Atletico now have finalised this deal, and Cardoso from Real Betis is now a now Atleti player. So, when you look at that, does that then tell you, right, okay, Real Betis have Europa League football. They have 30 million euros in the bank now from that Cardoso sale. And has that given them the money then to now go out and buy Antony from Manchester United? Can they up their price to convince United that they are the ones willing to take Antony? Antony has already said he would take a pay cut. Now, this is a different scenario to Marcus Rashford's pay cut, obviously, because Antony, as it stands, top line wages is 200, but at the moment he's on 150. So is it a pay cut on 150 or is it a pay cut on 200? Maybe it is on the 150. If he loves Real Betis that much, you know what? I'm going to be heaping a ton of credit on Antony at this point going forward here, because if he is willing to take a pay cut to move to Betis, to make it affordable for them, just to go and play football, and help Manchester United. He's not helping United out, obviously, but he isn't causing a problem for us, Antony, at all at the moment. And you know what? I do, and I want to give him the praise that he deserves on this, because he just wants to go and play where he's wanted. And fair enough. It is a lesser level, but he's accepted that, and he wants to move. And if he's willing to take a pay cut for his wages, and now Cardoso is sold, Betis have got a bit of money in the bank. They can up their price for Antony. And maybe they could work out an instalment plan that works for them to pay Manchester United and take Antony away. What this would mean is Antony's debt is cleared in terms of his transfer fee. United are not paying any more instalments. He's gone. Finished. Which is good enough news for United to move forward with another transaction. But Antony moving, Sancho moving, that gives United all of the freedom within the financial fair play PSR situation we're in right now to go out and buy a striker, which I think is the biggest player that we need right now. What striker it is, I have no idea at the moment, because nobody likes anyone out there. Everyone's got an opinion, and this is going to be the toughest signing for Manchester United this summer. It really is. I just don't see the right striker being out there at the moment for United, apart from the obvious that we can't get. And I think United are going to have to make a serious decision on this. And this is what I was talking about the other day when I was saying, have United changed their transfer strategy now? Now they know that their probably top three strikers that were out there and available are not affordable. Ekitike is too much maybe, because we've not gone back in for him. We've found out what the conditions were, and we've not gone into any discussions at all with Frankfurt. So you could say what you've got: Delap, you've got Osimhen, you've got Gyökeres, you've got Ekitike, you've got four strikers there we can't get. Mateta looks like he's well away. You could say five strikers that we can't get our hands on. Moise Kean, like I said, that's going to divide opinion, because he's already failed in the Premier League, and I don't know if one good season for Fiorentina is going to be enough for United to go out and spend 44 million. I don't see that happening. He's not worth that money. So again, there's another one. Who do we get? Is it a case of Vlahovic? United have said that they are no longer in for Jonathan David. I've talked about 7 strikers there that are actually available this summer in one way or another that Manchester United are now not looking at or can't get, or is very, very debatable whether we go for him or not, because if you're going to spend significant money on a striker, I would save it for next summer and go and buy a striker, because you might have got back into the Champions League. You do need someone. And at the moment, I think United are looking to spend on the lower side of things when it comes to a striker. I don't think United are going to go all out for a blockbuster deal this summer now for a striker. I can't see it. And if it is Ekitike, then United will structure a deal. That will be next summer's striker as well. Ekitike is seen as, and from what I've been told, a striker of the top line for Manchester United that they would be spending an awful lot of money on if they did go for him. That, I feel, again, he's going to divide all the opinion around Manchester United's fan base, but we will see, won't we? We will see. In terms of the actual finances of Ekitike, it would be cheaper than what we are paying for Jadon Sancho right now. That is something that we have to obviously consider as well. But United will be looking at that, and United will be looking at everything that is available in the striker department. Maybe they wait it out and see what happens towards the back end of the window. There might be a good loan opportunity for somebody. I think United will play the long game with the striker now, and I think focus might have actually turned to obviously the midfielder situation right now and what's happening there. And Jazeera from Club Brugge, we talked about him last night. Manchester United, Rudy Galletti has come out as well and said that Manchester United are giving serious consideration to Jazeera as an option in their number 6/8 role at the club. He plays 6. He's an out-and-out holding midfielder. Do we not need an 8 more, is what I'm saying, than a 6? Because it's not really giving me much hope in what we spent last summer on Manuel Ugarte. We're going out and buying Jazeera from Club Brugge because he's the same type of player. He's not a forward-thinking player. He plays in at 6. I think he's played 3 games this season in a more advanced role in like an 8. Every other game this season has been at a 6 for Club Brugge. I'm not going to even try and tell you all here that I know enough about him. I've watched him in the Champions League this season. Very good. And Club Brugge did have a great campaign in the Champions League. They did really well. But again, when you look at everything there that is on offer, have we not already got it? That's the question, I think. And United need to prioritise an 8 really more than anything else. Now, Paulinho would be a 6, but has got more to his game, I feel, just from what I've seen. Now, I might be completely wrong with Jazeera, and he's cheap. It's around 25 to 30 million is the price that's being talked about right now for Jazeera. So, again, he's in the same realm as Paulinho. Do you go for the unknown? He's 22, he's younger. I see that side and why United would do that. Paulinho's 29. Douglas Luiz, I think I'll see 27 right now. Premier League proven players or young up-and-coming player again? I think I know exactly what a lot of the chat will say. Paulinho can run, Compost Smith. I don't know what you've been thinking about there. Of course he can. But like I said, again, even what Compost Smith, someone's always got an opinion. Someone doesn't like one of the players. It's going to be a big debate in terms of which way we go with this and which player everybody's going to actually prefer. But Manchester United just need to make a decision on what they feel is right for now. We need to get back in the Champions League. You could spend 30 million on a 29-year-old and have no future in him if that player is going to help you get further up the table and get you more money coming in. Because then you can start to look like, okay, I said this last night and a few people got confused about it, but I was talking about Paulinho being 29 now, similar to what Casemiro was when he came in when he was 29 at United. The only difference is it's probably more than half the price of what Casemiro was at the time. This is the deal that United should have been doing back 2-3 years ago with Ten Hag for Casemiro. Getting a player that is on the right money, and Paulinho would be. He still pips it for me. He's the player that I would go for, personally. I think he is that physical player. Douglas Luiz, I haven't got a problem with that happening either. They're both ahead of Jazeera for me right now. He is just the unproven factor again. And if we're going to go with this whole push this summer about bringing in players that are Premier League proven and know what is happening, Douglas Luiz and Paulinho, I think, are ideal at a cheap price right now for United to get us through. I'm thinking of the actual formation, the structure, the system of Man United under Ruben Amorim. And if you've got players this season that will see us through and get us over the line into Europe next season and still contribute a couple of seasons after, which both Luiz and Paulinho will do, and then buy on top of that, then you start to build and move forward into the future, I feel, more than anything. But Jazeera is a real option for United. So that, again, let's just watch what happens with that. Rudy Galletti said that is one to watch. A couple of other journalists have picked up on Jazeera as well now. A lot of the other stories going out, though, are that he prefers AC Milan over Man United. We did say that yesterday. He's turned down Fulham and West Ham from the Premier League as well, Jazeera. So there is a lot of interest in him from his performances last season, because he's only just joined Club Brugge as well. So that is a big contract on his head. So someone is going to have to pay that release clause or that money anyway. Joe says, Adam, I'm a Millwall fan, but love your channel. Listen to you every day, but have a sweet spot for Man United. Always follow them. Would Man United be interested in Tanganga at Millwall? He's leaving for 1.2 million. Honestly, right now, I don't see Manchester United going for any player like that, but it's a good thing you brought up there, actually, Joe, because, in fact, Man United might be interested in a Championship player right now, and it's not the one that we know about in Hayden Hackney. It's not players that have been promoted through Sunderland, like Chris Rigg, that we've spoken about. It's Wilfred Ndidi, all of a sudden, has come onto the scene. Now, this was a player United should have bought about 5 years ago. Never mind now. This one, I am shutting down completely straight away. I don't want this. Even though he is £9 million in his release clause. He's got a relegation release clause, Wilfred Ndidi. So we've gone from Douglas Luiz to Palhinha to Jazira to now Wilfred Ndidi. You see where I'm going with this, and Manchester United's changing tactics over the transfer window. All of a sudden, all of these midfielders are starting to be linked with Manchester United. So there's 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 over the last few weeks that we've spoken about in central midfield that could be coming into United. If you include Edison, which is way down the line now, unfortunately for us. But again, United thinking outside the box. But the story on Wilfred Ndidi is alone with Casemiro leaving. Now, I was waiting for an update on Casemiro yesterday for someone in the know. And I did say yesterday morning when we was doing that show that maybe Ben Jacobs would come out and fill us in because he is the Saudi Pro League expert. And he did. He did come out. He said there isn't talks going on out down as far as some of the reports that the Saudi media is saying, but there is 100% an offer on the table for Casemiro to go to the Saudi Pro League. So that deal isn't dead. It's not as imminent as the reports from Saudi were saying, but there is an offer for Casemiro there. So like Nicola Shearer has said, now like Ben Jacobs has said, like the media over in Saudi have said, there is an out for Casemiro. If United want this to happen, again, like maybe when Ruben comes back, he has the meetings with his recruitment team and they say, right, we've done this, this and this, but we've come up against this brick wall in this situation. We think we need to move this around to make that happen, so on and so forth. What do you want to do? Maybe we get some more decisions when Ruben gets back to Carrington and he's wanting to see things progress and United's recruitment team say, we can't do this because of this. Do you want to then do this to make that happen? This and that. But that's what I think might kick into gear. And obviously, like we've been saying, July 1st isn't just an opening in this transfer window because everybody's looking at the new financial year. People are coming back. Players are coming back. Agents are asking questions. More fallout to happen. It's easy when you're not facing up to the issue or the problem and you don't have to look at it every day. But when you actually do return and you come face to face with everything that's actually happening, again, from what happened last season, like the problem players and things like that, things then start to escalate and decisions start to be made a lot quicker. I mean, United have done excellently so far, and when we do get the full confirmation on Bryan Mbeumo, which is apparently very, very soon, we are going to be, I feel, in a much better place with players that we've got available to us. But we've still got the problems there, like we've been discussing on the majority of this show in your Rashford, Sancho and Garnacho. So what United can get done in this next 10 days now, let's see, because that's going to play a big part in what happens with the likes of Casemiro, I feel, going forward as well. Are the players that we've spoken about, Ndidi, Palhinha, Jazira, Douglas Luiz, all better than Casemiro and what he can offer Man United this season coming? That's a conversation that probably will be happening at Carrington now. It has to be. Because Casemiro's in. It's costing us a lot of money. We can more than afford to bring in 2 of them midfielders if Casemiro leaves. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But the amount of money that United save from Casemiro, we could structure a deal for 2 of them midfielders for the prices that they're being, that's going around that they're apparently going for. That is an interesting one, and how far Manchester United take that conversation anyway. But again, it is an offer on the table for Casemiro. I think Ruben's going to be the deciding factor with Casemiro. I do. Does he think that any of them other players are better? That's the question that's going to come up, I think, over the next 10 days anyway. Over 500 likes, by the way, everybody. Thank you so much. Absolutely loving that. By the way, we are just about 100 subscribers away from 87,000. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Please do be part of the FUTV army, everybody. Thank you again if you have already subscribed. And please, if you haven't, get involved. Be part of it. We're looking for that 90k before the start of the season, and we are closing in, people. So thank you again for all of your support on the channel. I know I keep saying it every day, but I do feel like this is our channel, and we've created this all together over this last 18 months now that we've been running FUTV. So, and we are going great guns. So again, appreciation levels are up. If we buy Ndidi, Wilcox and Vivel would be fired. I don't think so, because they'll be the ones buying him. But yes, that's in your opinion anyway. And sorry, Almac it was who said that one. We can buy Hackner, Rios, Orja, Zero by selling Casemiro. Exactly like I just said, Jackie there. That is the opportunity that opens up for Manchester United if we do let Casemiro go. That is massive. Adon is a good player. He is. Jazira is a good player. From what I've watched, he's an excellent player. But also, what you've got to look at here is again, it's the Premier League unknown. And United seem to be making a serious attempt this summer to get players who know the Premier League. Specifically because we haven't got European football. Maybe that's something to look into. I don't think so necessarily. I think it's just the quality of player anyway. But with us not having Champions League football this next season, maybe this summer's transfer window is aimed about getting the Premier League sorted and Ruben working his magic on the training ground. Let's see. I did promise you an update on the Bryan Mbeumo situation. Manchester United are closing in on a deal for Bryan Mbeumo for a similar fee of $62.5 million they paid for Cunha. Now, the minor details on this are now being finalised. Everybody has come to the same conclusion who's been reporting on this, that the fact that Brentford have not come out and rejected that offer for Bryan Mbeumo that Manchester United have put in, and the offer is official. It went in at weekend. Now that has gone on a few days, we said this last night, it is just a case of finalising the minor details. This will be done. I think, I'm going to guess, around weekend time, we'll get some movement on Bryan Mbeumo. I think Manchester United would want him in for the start of July. And like we've said all along, that just puts us into a position then where we need to focus. I mean, there was a story from Alcaraz that came out last night. Manchester United's financial situation now is going to be playing its part in what Man United do in the rest of this window. They're in a situation where they need to sell to bring players in. Well, we're not, but we would want to do that to make room for the players coming in first of all, because the players that we're looking to sell, like we've just been speaking about, are so significant and so big in terms of everything that's going to give Manchester United, everything that them selling them players is going to give United financially. They're not big players for us in terms of what they're doing. Look at them. Like Sancho doesn't play for us. Rashford doesn't play for us. Garnacho won't be playing for us. Anthony doesn't play for us. They're massive players who don't play for United. So ideally, United, not like they're hampered financially. We can still go out and buy players, but realistically, in a season when we haven't got Champions League football or European football of any sorts, we need to obviously spend when we have moved players on. They're being sensible with the money, is what it is. They can go out and spend more if they want. There is money there, and they can structure deals if necessary. But they would just like to move players on, and I can totally get that. People would always build that up to be we need to sell to buy. I think it's a case of we need to make room to buy. There's too many players in Manchester United's squad, and United want to trim that squad down. So, if anything, it's making room for the players to come in and not having the headaches. Because, like I said, if you've got the likes of Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford, and Anthony coming back and training, like, how are you supposed to prepare for a friendly? Who are you going to play? There's complications and problems there that you can probably get rid of. And that's what United's focus is going to be on next. And I'm all for that because, like we said before, the outgoings are just as important as the incomings this summer. And I think it's going to be now full steam ahead with all the outgoings. Let's get some comments in on this one. Let's see what we got. Get your comments in on Rashford. Get your comments in on everything else. Adam, do you think Højlund would benefit in the Championship for a season? I think that's his level at the moment, mate. And he could get some confidence up, score 20-plus goals, and he would be better for the following season. Mitrovic did this and worked. It worked well, actually. It's a good point. Mitrovic is a good example on that one. But I don't see Manchester United letting him go to the Championship. I don't think he would want to go. I think once they get to Manchester United, they feel like they've made it. That's the culture of United that's developed that type of player and the mindset of that type of player for me. And again, that's where we've gone wrong. We're completely wrong. And we've just recruited the wrong players at the wrong time. It's a recipe for disaster, and the disaster is now because United have finished where they have in the league. So we'll see what happens with Rasmus Højlund throughout. And obviously we're going to get some reports today from the Jadon Sancho side of things from Italy, like we said. And maybe we'll get some more developments regarding Marcus Rashford and Manchester United's stance on him. But we'll see what happens with that as the day goes on, everybody. But for now, that is our show finished this morning. All that's left for me to say again is absolutely legends. A lot of you in the chat, thank you so much. Great show again, everyone. Fantastic comments. A really good show that flew by this morning, actually. But again, mods in the chat for running that. Thank you very much. Everybody who donated and dropped a super chat, just let me make sure I've not missed out on any of them. Oh, I did. I've missed out on 2 of them. Sorry. Mane, first of all, striker will come next window. Adam, we bought well this window, and Bumo will wear the number 9 for 2026. Well, he won't. But he might play the odd time in that position. I'm talking about the shirt number there, that's all. Always a red with the super chat as well. Adam, my brother, took Mount his new car yesterday. Oh, did you now? What car was it? What car was it? Let us know in the comments after the show finishes, buddy. But again, thank you to all the contributions, everyone who's been part of the show. Please give the video a like on the way out. That will take us over 600 live likes, which is epic as always. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, everybody. And get involved in the FUTV army and the journey. We are wanting 90,000 before this season starts. We're almost there. Just over 3,000 to go. We're nearly at 87k. Thanks again, everybody. I will see you all later on with your updates. Again, no schedule, just when the news breaks. So expect something maybe around lunchtime and then later on this evening. I'll keep you posted as the day goes on, though. So cheers, everybody.